Ladies and gentlemen, to whom it concerns, it's The Late Late Show. And here is your host, Gay Byrne.
That is me! Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, my friends. Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening to you. Welcome once again, folks. And straight away, let us express our regrets for having lost a show last week because of industrial dispute. And we're trying to make up to some of the people who were disappointed last week, and great disappointment around the country. Partly, that is the reason why we will not have the final of our lovely postal quiz for you tonight, that lovely on-post holiday anywhere in the world. That will have to be deferred until next week. But on-post did ask me to remind you that if you're thinking of sending your Patrick's Day cards to anywhere in the world, you better get with it like next week, especially if you're sending messages to your loved ones in Australia, New Zealand, America, places like that. You better send them off next week. Don't forget, the cards are on sale all over the country. 30 pence, card and stamp to anywhere in the world, and your little St. Patrick's Day message will go to your loved ones wherever they are. Instead of the postal quiz, though, we have something even more exciting, even more teeth-clenching, even will have you further to the edge of your seats. It will be spectacular. It will be dynamic. But I don't want to say too much about it because you'll all get excited. I won't go on. Try to contain yourselves for the moment. Meanwhile, we start with musical excitement in the shape of a man who is easily the best uilleann pipe player in the country. His latest album is called Out of the Air and is doing very well. And of course, his first album, all his fans will know, went gold. And he has a little piece for us tonight called Atlantic Bridge. Would you welcome, please, Davy Spillane? fusion of Irish trad, a little bit of rock, jazz. Nicely played, boys. Thank you very much indeed. That was Davy Spillane live in Studio One. Now, my friends, last week was the 100th spin of the wheel in the National Lottery. And it left us wondering, suppose, I mean, this troubles people all over the country. It's a permanent thought in their minds, I think. What would you do if you won 10, 20, 50 grand, 100,000 pounds in the National Lottery? How would you cope with it? What would you do with it? Would it change your life for the better or the worse? Come with me, because I have down here a man called Kevin O'Toole and his wife. And in 1987, down in Tralee, County Kerry, coupled with the Rose of Tralee, I was there on the very night he won 50,000 pounds. And this is Kathy, his wife, and they have 3 children, and soon, I presume, yes, more, just to celebrate the thing. 50 grand then, Kevin. I remember the night. Where were you when the news came through that your ticket had come up for the spin?
I was in the pub.
You were in the pub? Yes. Yes. Who with?
Well, I'm involved in the local GA club in Tormakeely.
Yes.
And in actual fact, we were trying to pick the team for the following Sunday when I got this phone call.
Nice one, Kevin. I like it. You were in the pub trying to pick the team for the following. Oh, you work in the pub, I see. Yes, yes. So you weren't sort of drinking or anything like that? No, no. That's grand. And the word came through that your ticket had been... What, did that have any particular effect on you?
I told him to get lost.
Yeah, because you just didn't believe it. Didn't believe it, yeah. And then what did the 50,000 pounds... You run a pub come grocery yourself,
yeah,
do you?
Well, it's a family business.
Family business, yes. So what did you do with the 50 grand?
Spent it.
On what?
Well, the first thing we went out, we bought a car. Because Kathy had originally bought the ticket because of a car.
Yeah.
And I invested half in the family business.
Yeah.
And I'm at present working on my house.
I see. So 25 went into the family business. You thought that was a good investment. And then maybe, what, 10 for the car?
11.
11 for the car, yeah.
A little
bit more, 11 for the car. And then the rest of it then...
Most of it into the house. Yeah.
That's it. Has it changed your life at all?
It changed my life, but not my lifestyle.
I see. But what way do you mean that now?
Well, I mean, it has taken an awful lot of pressure off.
Yeah.
No worries, the whole lot, but I mean, it's still the same.
Yeah.
I still have to go to work.
Yeah. But you have a little nest egg after all is said and done.
I have security now.
Security. Very good. So you're enjoying life then as a result.
Very much.
Yeah, very good. All right. This is Sheila Maguire from Bantry, County Cork. How are you, Sheila? She won £100,000 in August 1987. Yeah, now, you're originally from Dublin, but you run a sort of a boarding house in Bantry, do you?
Guest house.
Yeah. And what did you say you might spend the money on before the wheel spin came up?
The only thing I ever wanted, having got a guest house, was a rotary iron and a dishwasher.
Dishwasher and rotary iron. So you got those two when you won.
Of course,
you did, yes. What else did you get then, Sheila?
I got a semi-commercial washing machine and dryer.
Yes, semi-commercial washing machine and dryer. And what else did you get?
Well, then I went wild and bought a sports car.
Sports car?
Yes.
What kind of a sports car?
It was a Fiat X19. 2-seater sports car.
A Fiat X19?
Yes.
What colour?
Gold. Metallic.
Metallic gold Fiat X19?
Yes.
Do you know how to use it? I know you know how to drive it, but do you know how to use it?
Oh, yes, yes. If you're a member of our family, you have to know about cars.
Why? Have you always been car minded?
Well, I'm the only female in a family of males, and we're all car and motorbike mad.
I see. So, how much was the car, by the way?
It wasn't very much. It was an oldish one. It was only 2,500.
Oh, it was a banger you bought.
Never. There's no such thing as a banger X19.
Of course there's a banger X19 for £2,500, for heaven's sake. How old is it?
It's 7 years old.
I thought it's 7 years old. I thought you went out and bought a brand new metallic gold Fiat X19.
Well, you know the old expression, my mother raised no fools. I don't part with my money that easy.
But you won 100,000 for God's sake. So you got the dishwasher.
I did.
And the rotary iron.
Rotary iron.
And the car.
And the car.
Yes.
And the washing machine.
And the washing machine.
And the dryer.
And the dryer. That's grand.
Yeah.
That's all business outlay. Sure, that's only about £10,000 altogether, for heaven's sake. I mean, throwing it away, that's only 10
Yeah.
grand.
Then I went to London.
Oh, there's living. Oh, London. What did you do in London, Sheila?
Went to see the Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
And Cats.
Yes. And all of that. Yes.
And then this year I went to America.
Oh, we went to America,
yes,
did we?
did.
Whereabouts in America did we?
California.
Oh, there you are. And you're married, are you?
I am.
Did you bring hubby?
No.
You didn't bring hubby to London or California?
Oh, I brought him to London.
Oh,
I didn't bring him to California.
Why not?
No. But I told Ronan Collins last week it's like bringing colds to Newcastle.
Explain yourself, Sheila. Explain yourself.
Why would I want to bring a man to Los Angeles and
I don't know.
San Francisco for? I was having a good time with the girls.
Did he mind you going?
Not at all.
Without
Why should he?
Well, that's right. Well, yeah, I better not get in too deep here.
No.
So
Women's lib works very well in my house.
In Bantry, yes. You wouldn't think the metallic gold, even second-hand Fiat X19 would be a bit flash-like for Bantry, would you? Sort of
Well, I have a little Peugeot 205 as well.
For weekdays, like?
For diesel, yeah, for weekdays. For running up and down in.
I see. So how has the 100,000 changed your life, Sheila?
It hasn't really. I still take in guests. I still work every day. I was able to help my two sons set up their business. And that's it. I like Kevin. I have a nest egg behind me.
Little nest egg behind you. So you're at peace with yourself and the financial...
I can decide to go to the States when I feel like it and do all these sort of things when I want to.
Good on you. And little trips to London to see the shows and everything like that.
I like musicals, so...
Good.
If you can't go there, what's the point in having it?
Long may it continue. Good on you. That's the right way to use it. Now, John Dowling. How are you, John?
How are you doing, Dave?
John is 26. He's from Sandymount in Dublin. He won £250,000 in April 1988. Your wife was pregnant at the time?
She was indeed.
Yes.
She is now.
That kept your mind concentrated.
Definitely
She
did.
is again, you mean?
No, she was
she is
then.
not.
Hey. Not yet.
What do you do for a living, John?
I have my own business. I'm self-employed, plumbing and building maintenance.
I see. So did you not chuck it all then and give up?
No, actually, I think that was a very stabilising effect that I had started the business and it was going well at the time. Once the money came along, it was great. Like, I mean, it was a great sense of security. So I could keep on at the business. I want to make that work.
So you put money into the business, did you?
No, I didn't put money into the business. I wanted the business to build itself and see where it got in, let's say, a year's time. And maybe if it wasn't going in the direction that I wanted, then possibly I might invest, you know. And
so what did you do with the 250 grand?
I bought a bit of property and a few things, bits and pieces. You know, we bought a nice car.
Heavy property.
Sorry?
Heavy property, big property. Like.
A bit of property, like, you know, small bit, you know.
Little nest egg around it, yeah. But did you go out and splash on new clothes or?
No, not really. No, we actually we got a lovely suite of furniture, a leather suite of furniture, the piece de resistance of furniture, as it were.
Yes.
It was my dream, a leather suite of furniture.
I
so
see.
We got it.
And nothing else.
Well, we've been buying bits and pieces, but nothing major. We're planning a holiday next year.
Where?
America.
Bray, he's going to say.
America. No, I'm not that mean, Gay. I will bring her to America someday. America, Australia, something like a really good holiday.
Yeah.
But we can't really go anywhere very far now with Anya so small.
Right, I see. So, what was the reaction of friends, pals around the place, fellas?
Tremendous, actually, tremendous. There was a great sense of, you know, sort of support behind them. You know, everybody was there. Like, they didn't sort of expect anything of me. Yeah. It was just delightful to see that somebody had won. Yeah, well, it didn't make any difference. They wouldn't have got anything.
I see. Was there any bad reaction to you, Sheila, with the win? No neighbours or anything like that?
No, I found that the reaction was that everyone was glad to know somebody who won it.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of, finally they said that somebody who had actually won the money, they knew somebody who won the money, and it made it, we'd say, a reality. Complete reality.
You too, Kevin, no narcs around
No
Key
problem.
or anything like that, no problems. Yeah, it's always a danger.
So,
Yeah.
wait a minute, Gay, just talking about the
Oh, you want to give me
business,
something?
I have a card for you. And,
Oh, I see.
and the good news is there's one for everyone in the audience.
You're all about to receive. I was going to read out, it's Dowling Mechanical and Building Maintenance Services, Sandymount Road, Dublin, but you can bloody well afford to pay for your own.
Thank you.
That sort of money, there you are. Now, Shirley Jackson. Hello, Shirley. How do you do? How do you do, Mr. Jackson? How are you? Shirley Jackson. Where are you from, Shirley?
Skerries.
Skerries. Shirley Jackson won £741,745 in January 1989. January 1989. Just let me think about that. 741,745. And you have 3 boys and 4 girls.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you won it?
Mind blowing.
Where were you?
Absolutely. Looking at it on the telly.
You actually saw the balls?
Yeah.
And you checked the ticket?
Well, my daughter was checking the ticket, and I began to recognise the numbers she was calling out as she was writing it down, and started footering in my handbag to find where I had my
You work
tickets.
a formula, do you?
No, I always had the same numbers.
That's what I mean. You work a formula, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And next thing I heard my husband shouting, yes, 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 as each number started to come up. And then I got the shakes and I couldn't look at it. And then we thought we made a mistake. And as one of the numbers, which was a very lucky number, I'd put in by mistake because I picked birthdays and addresses.
Yeah.
And I had put the birthday wrong. And I was going to change it, and then I never changed it. And it was the lucky number.
And then you checked and double checked.
So then we checked and double checked with the print worn off the ticket.
And ringing people and
ringing all around.
Did
the
you
place.
see that?
Yes.
Do you have the numbers? Great.
And then the family appeared like magic.
Yes.
Because somebody had rung up in the middle of it all to talk to me, my son. And next thing, they said, quick, and Mum thinks she's won the lotto. And the phone went dead, and it seemed to me that I'd only walked from the phone to the door when they were all coming in the door of the hall immediately.
Amazing how they turn.
Isn't it?
They smell it from 17 miles away, yeah. So what did you do then? What did you do with it, Shirley?
What did we do
Yeah,
then?
what did you do with the money?
Oh, with the money?
Yeah, with the money.
Well,
yeah.
sure, what could you do with it? It's only 5 weeks.
It's only 5 weeks
or
ago.
6 weeks, so you're still thinking about it. We bought a car.
Oh, I see. Yes, 5 weeks since you bought it. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I see. So
I
you're
mean, we
still
haven't
thinking
had
about
time.
it. Yes, so you bought a car.
So we bought a car.
You didn't buy a metallic gold Fiat
Oh,
X one night.
no, we didn't want anything as cheap as that. we bought a Volvo.
Yes, oh, yeah.
One of those.
Yes, pricey, yes.
And,
yes, and what else did you do?
And we haven't done any. We brought the family out to a meal.
Oh, big deal. In the chipper.
And friends.
Yes, and friends, yeah.
And we haven't really. What have we done with it?
Well, we haven't
Nothing.
done a lot yet.
We're really
we
talking
intend
about
to in
it.
the
But
future.
you're going to the Caribbean or
That's
somewhere.
right.
Oh, yeah, we're
Oh, are
having
you
a little
really?
holiday,
You're
yes.
really going to the Caribbean,
Yeah.
are you? Definitely now.
Definitely.
Yes, and all, yes, I see.
We're having the holiday.
Yes, and the begging letters still go out, I suppose.
They do.
Yes, we keep sending them.
Did you get many? Did you get many?
No,
begging
we didn't. I got 10. And I think Sheila was saying she got 4.
letters? No,
Yeah.
you're very lucky.
And snowed under with cards of
Congratulations.
congratulations, and the feeling
That's
out
great.
there was fantastic, and of well-being with everybody.
Great.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, now introduce me to your
Absolutely
friends,
wonderful.
your lifelong friends. Which is Paddy Fitzpatrick? That's
This is
Paddy.
Paddy
And
Fitzpatrick
Daphne.
and Daphne.
Yeah, and then there's Bob
Angela
Lister.
and Bob Lester.
Angela and Bob Lister. Now, what's the story behind that? You got engaged
Well,
on the
we
same...
met when we were almost teenagers.
Three
about
couples.
20s.
Yeah.
And we got engaged on New Year's night many moons ago.
Where?
In the Gresham Hotel when they used to have the all-night
The
ball.
dances, yeah. Yeah.
And we got engaged on that particular night.
Yeah.
And then we all got married within the 1 month.
Yeah.
And we then all went on our holidays together, which was in Skerries. And raised all our children together.
About the same age,
Because
yes.
between us we've
Yeah.
quite a number.
Yes, indeed.
And caravanning in Bettystown. And then we decided we'd save up for the 25th anniversary for the big continental holiday, which we did. And we've had 1 or 2 since. And every night, every Friday night, Gay, this is the bit,
Yes.
we watch you on the Late Late Show.
See, you all collect together.
That's
We
right.
meet every single Friday in one another's houses, and we have supper and we watch the Late Late Show.
Isn't that
And
fantastic?
about 2 years ago, I was meant to write to you to ask you, wouldn't it be nice if we were on the Late Late Show? Now, not in this capacity, of course. And we came to the Late Late Show, and I kept forgetting to write. And then the opportunity arose,
Isn't
and
that
here
wonderful?
we are,
A
instead
life-
of sitting at home.
A lifelong friendship.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's the most important thing.
Oh,
The most
absolutely.
important thing. Lifelong. Did you give them anything?
No, they're coming on the
No,
holiday.
that's
Gay.
some of the thoughts we have. We're thinking.
Like they're not that friendly. You think you could slip you a quid or two anyway. You know, a bag of chips or something like that. No. Oh dear, that's a lovely story. Well done.
So-
Well, may you have health and strength, all of you, to enjoy it. I hope you have a great time and go out and enjoy it and have a good time. Good time.
Thank you
Lovely
very
to think
much.
about it. 745.
But that's the way we are still, Gay.
What?
Looking at it and looking at it.
Yeah. Well, if you need
And
any
the
help...
big lotto card that we have at home
Yeah.
under the couch and the settee.
Yeah.
The huge big one. We only take it out now and again to look at it because I can't bear the sight of it, because I can't believe it. So I keep putting it onto the settee, and now and again we have a look at it.
Yeah. Well, Shirley, if you need any advice now, you know where I am.
I know.
Anytime at all. Well, as I say now, last week was the 100th turn of the Lotto wheel. And tonight, we wanted to do it last week on the show, and we missed out for obvious reasons. So tonight we're picking up on that because, first of all, because of the 100th birthday of the wheel, as it were, and secondly, because I think that a great number of people all over the country have never seen the wheel actually being spun. They don't know what happened. They don't know what the routine is. They don't know what the wheel looks like. That's the wheel. There it is there before you. That's the wheel. And we have, in our front row tonight, the officials of the National Lottery, because we are now going to do the official spin of the wheel tonight with the 4 competitors for this week. First of all, we have the Secretary of the Board of the National Lottery, and he's Jim Tracy. That's the first man you're looking at there. And then we have the Draw Manager, who is Tony McGinty. And then we have Robert Dix of Stokes Kennedy Crowley, who is the official observer, as it were, the accountancy firm, the official observer, to make sure that everything is hunky-dory and standing by. So what you're going to see is the actual official spinning of the wheel for the lottery prizes for this week. And we have 5 contestants in the studio. First of all, we welcome from Nobber, County Meath, John Smith. There's John Smith. How are you doing, John? Now, you just stand there for the moment, John. John is 39, married, runs a 100-acre mixed farm with his wife Anne. They have 6 children who are 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, and Anya, who's just 8 months old. What happened between 5 and 3? I don't know, but I won't inquire. Now, he buys 1 lottery ticket every week, and he says that with 6 children, he doesn't need anybody's help, thank you very much indeed, in planning what he's going to do with whatever he wins. But the mere fact that he's here straight away, he's £5,000 up. And in his spare time, he enjoys badminton and following GAA. He has not spun the wheel. None of them has spun the wheel so far. Are you ready then, John?
Can I say hello to the kids at home?
You can say hello to the kids at home. They'll be wishing you luck.
Hello, Elva, Rena, Emily, Darrell, Jason, and Anya. And I want to give Mother a kiss for Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Very good.
And Gay, I think, is one for everyone in the audience.
Are you standing by? Now, what I want you to do... Good luck. I want you to spin it with one of the knobs. When you spin it, would you stand back, please, to me, okay? Thank you. Good luck. That's the boy. Stand back. Thank you. Now, you'll notice there are 3 wheels on the base of the National Lottery wheel. You have a red, and you have a blue, and you have a green. That means that it is a valid spin, because the wheel must complete 3 circuits in order to be a valid spin. And that's all that happens. The ball plunks from prong to prong, and wherever it comes to rest, I must wait for 5 seconds while the wheel comes to rest, and we count down the number. And you're all beginning to get a bit excited now, because this is the crucial time. And we wait now, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have won, sir, £10,000. Well done. £10,000. Congratulations to you. Good boy. £10,000 to you. There's a man over there writing the check straight away. Go over and enjoy it. Well done, John. Thank you. Next we have from Ballintubber, Castlereagh, County Roscommon, Betty Garvey. This is Betty Garvey. How are you doing, Betty? Stand there. You look lovely. Looking lovely indeed. Excuse me, just cancelling those lights. Now, Betty is 41. She's married. She helps her brother-in-law, Tom, run the family shop and pub in Ballintubber. Her husband, Pat, runs an 80-acre cattle farm and a butcher shop in Castlereagh. They have 3 children who are 17, 15 and 13. Originally from Newmarket, County Cork. Met her husband in New York when she emigrated there a number of years ago, and then they came back to live here in Ireland. She buys 2 lottery tickets every week. She won £1,000 3 weeks ago. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky? £1,000 3 weeks ago, and now, God knows, I wish you the very best of luck in what you're going to win. Give it a good spin. When you spin, you can.
Ballintubber.
In Ballintubber. Very good. All right. When you give it a good spin, step back, join me over here. Thank you. A good one now. Good girl. Come back. And you have 1 light. You have 2 lights. And a 3rd light. It is a valid spin. If you hit the whirlwind, you win whatever amount is in that square, and you're also entitled to get a 2nd spin. And you win whatever you get when that spin is completed. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've won £10,000. £10,000 for you. Well done. Good girl. Over there, £10,000. Fine. From Arklow, County Wicklow, we have Margaret Kennedy. Margaret Kennedy, hello, Margaret. Good girl. Stand there beside me now, we'll look after you. Margaret is married, doesn't work outside the home. Her husband Don is retired from Net, where he worked in the stores department, and you have 4 sons and 1 daughter and 1 grandchild. Now, Margaret's son Michael works in Saudi Arabia. Her son Declan teaches English in Spain. Her sister Frances lives in Birmingham. Her sister Elizabeth lives in Sutton, England. And her brother William lives in Bath. So she's going to see them all. She has to go and see them all if you win. Whatever you win, you'll have to go and see them all. And you buy 1 lottery ticket every week, and you've no immediate plans for spending the grand prize, whatever it is. You just think about it if it comes up. All right. And you do a little bit of knitting and a little bit of sewing. All right now, Margaret, if you grab one of those things now, remember to give it a... No, one of those, darling. Now, remember when you spin, give it a good, strong spin, and then stand back, okay? Thank you. Off you go. Good luck. That's the girl. Come back to me. Do you want to watch, or will you turn your eyes away and I'll tell you? Turn your eyes away. You face the other way, then I'll tell you. You have 2 lights. You have 2 lights, and you've 3 lights. And that's a valid spin. And the shooting star section tonight stands at £100,000 if you happen to hit it. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, £7,500. There you go. The man will write to you just over there. Good girl. Margaret. Next we have from Coolrua Drive, Beaumont in Dublin, Tom Connors. There's Tom. No difficulty with Tom spinning this wheel. Stand around there. Good luck. Right, Tom is married, retired as a ground engineer with Aer Lingus 2 years ago, and his wife, Eileen, doesn't work in the home. They have 3 daughters and 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. And he buys 3 lottery tickets every week. His daughter Eileen is getting married in May, so the plans are to set aside some of the winnings, whatever they may be, for that very special day. Wedding expenses and so on. He says a few weeks golf in Miami with the pals wouldn't go astray, he says. Now, he doesn't intend to go to Miami with the pals to play golf. He hasn't got the actual intention, do you understand? It's just that it wouldn't go astray if that happened. I mean, he doesn't care whether he goes to Miami or not with the pals, you understand, to play golf. It's just that if it happened that way, it wouldn't go astray. Do you understand? And then with the rest of the amount, he'd still love to visit the Soviet Union. Yes. Very good. I wouldn't need it. Well, as a matter of fact, you're here on the right night, because we have in our audience the Soviet ambassador to Ireland, Mr. Uranov, and Mrs. Uranov, and we also have the Soviet attaché, who is Mr. Evdokimov, and his wife. And so, if you decide, whatever you win, if you decide to go to the Soviet Union, they'll make all the arrangements for you. We lay it on specially for you, Tom. Lay it on specially for you. Are you ready to spin then? Right. Get your right arm up there now on one of those, spin, and then stand back. Here we go. Good luck. Oh, it got a very weak spin for such a big man. Very weak spin indeed. 1 light you got. And you have a 2nd light. And you have a 3rd light. You have a 3rd light, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, £12,500. Good man. Good man. £12,500. Good man. Good boy. Well done. £12,500. Next we have from Moneyfluck. From Moneyfluck in Inniscala, County Cork, we have Frank Kavanagh, being very careful about where he lives. Come on, Frank. How are you? Stand there. I'm sure it's Winnifluck. I'm sure it is. Anyway, it's a damp old place anyway, is it? Yes. Frank Kavanagh is married, works as a carpenter in Spike Island, and his wife Mary doesn't work outside the home. They have 4 children who are 9, 7, 5, and Lisa, who's just a year old. Buys 2 lottery tickets every week, and he says he plans to share his grand prize game winning with his sister-in-law, because she actually scratched the winning ticket but got him to sign it because she said his luck was better than hers. So whatever you win, then you have to split it down the middle. Is that right, Frank? Okay. Like that, yeah. And you play soccer, and you do a bit of GAA and reading. I did play soccer. You did play soccer one time. Are you ready to spin? Can I just say hello to my children? You certainly can. Hello, Brian. Well, you know their names. You don't know their names. Hello, Brian, David, Alan, and Lisa.
and also to my mother who's minding them.
Very good. What about your sister-in-law?
Oh, and I better say hello to Breda too.
That's right. Because you're in for 50-50. Okay, are you ready to spin? Yes. Give it a good spin and then step back, please. A good spin now, a good spin. Good boy. Step back. That's the stuff. Well done. No need to spin it off its axle, you know.
You said a good spin.
We have 3 lights. Very quickly, 3 lights. Very quickly, 3 lights. We could be here all night while this thing runs down. Don't forget, if you hit the whirlwind, you win whatever amount is in the whirlwind, and you're entitled to a second spin. And if you hit the whirlwind again, you win that amount, and you get a next spin. And so we could be here until 4 o'clock in the morning. And your shooting star at the moment is worth £100,000. Everything else on the wheel is self-explanatory. This is a valid spin, and these are the official spins for this week. And this is Frank Kavanagh from Inniscala, County Cork. And we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, £7,500, Frank. Well done. Not bad. Not bad. £7,500. Good boy. Good boy. Thank you very much. There you are. Right. Y'all want me to spin, don't you? You're waiting for me to spin, aren't you? All right. This is not an official spin. Not an official spin. I'm just amusing myself. Just sort of like, look, dreaming. We can all dream, can't we? What was the amount again? 741,000. I keep on thinking of it. It keeps on coming into my mind. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. This is interesting, isn't it? All standing on the Late Late Show, live, coast to coast, all over the place, spinning a bit of a wheel. Doesn't mean anything at all, but it's a valid spin. I mean, if I had had the ticket and I had the 3 and everything, and it would have been, and I would have won. I would have won. I would have won. Only 10,000. Ah, to hell with it. I wouldn't be bothered. I'm sorry for wasting your time. Sure, I'd drink that. Come to think of it, I'd spill it. As Frank Carson said on the radio the other day, what's black and white and tells the Pope to go to hell? The answer is a nun who's won the lottery. Anyway, our thanks to all our contestants. Thank you to our officials of the National Lottery for attending. And later on in the show, they're going away to do the draw for the 5 people who are spinning the wheel next week. And before the end of the show, we will bring you those 5 names. So if you had a 3-star tickets in this week, stay tuned, and we'll bring you that result later on. Okay, we take a break here. Thank you very much indeed. Come back to us. Okay, now. 13. Président de Gaulle. No, that's an odd one. President de Gaulle. 1 minute. All right. One piece up from over here. You're trying to sit it out, aren't you? You're trained clever. Number 3. Number 3 goes up there. And how about that then? Give us a look. Give us a look. Give us a look. Oh, that's a cap. It's a cap. It's a sort of an emblem on a cap, I think. Sort of a cap, you know, like it has a sort of a badge on the... a peak cap, yeah. Sort of an official-looking cap, like, for sailing boats or driving buses or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Who is it? Come on, then. Are you husband and wife? You are? You're allowed to confer if you're husband and wife. Yes, yes. If you're strangers, no. No good? I have to hear from you. Have a go. Take it away. Take it away, PJ. Have to hear from you. Oh, da dee 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 da da dee dee. All right. Very good. Very good. Welcome. Welcome back. By the way, we have a change of telephone number on the show tonight if you're calling us. Complete change of telephone number to alleviate the pressure on the 69 number. Our new number is 830000. That's 83 and then 4 knots, okay? 83, 4 knots, just that simple if you want to get in touch with us. Now, my next guest, very attractive young Dublin lady who's approached her show business career in sort of reverse order. Instead of holding down a day job and playing music occasionally in the evening, she started out her working life full-time as professional musician in Bunratty Castle. And then 7 years later, she took a job in the Blackrock Clinic and continues her musical career, as it were, on the side. And she's about to release her second album, which is titled Strings and Things, and she's going to play a little piece for us tonight from that album, which is called Concerto. Would you welcome, please, Teresa Lawler? Bit of playing. Thank you very much indeed for staying so quiet during that. It's a delicate little piece. That's Teresa Lawler, Concerto, and Teresa is in the John Field Room in the National Concert Hall on the last day of the month, the 31st. Now, last week, my friends, we missed, because of the strike, we missed on The Late Show one of the most exciting film premieres to happen in Ireland in the last God knows how long. It was the premiere of the story of Christy Brown's life called My Left Foot, based on his book, with an all-Irish cast, well, except for one or two perhaps, all Irish made, and already a tremendous success for its producer, Noel Pearson. It's already in profit even before, as it were, worldwide release. It's premiered in Dublin last week. It's premiered in Cork next Thursday at the Pavilion in aid of the Rehab Institute, and then from Friday onwards in Cork it'll be at the Classic Cinema. And it goes to the Cannes Film Festival in May, and then afterwards it's expected to win a prize, and then afterwards it goes on worldwide release. Now, the cast for their performance in the movie throughout have been showered with admiration and plaudits, most particularly the man who plays the part of Christy Brown, a most extraordinarily difficult part to play. For those of you who remember Christy Brown, indeed you might remember meeting him once on The Late Late Show on one particularly memorable night. most difficult part, and he's pulled it off with huge and outstanding success. To give you an idea of what we're talking about, I want to show you a little clip from the movie in which Christy first meets his nurse, Mary, played by Ruth McCabe, and this girl was afterwards to become his wife. Will you roll it there, Roisin, please? And this will give you a good idea of the sort of personality of Christy Brown as he was. Daniel Day-Lewis.
I need a light.
What?
I need a light.
I don't smoke.
I need a light.
I'm not deaf, I can hear you. You need a light. I haven't got any matches, so you'll just have to wait here while I go and get one. Don't you think I'm your mother just because I'm looking after you for the evening?
I don't need a fucking psychology lesson. I just need a fucking light.
That was very much in keeping with Christy Brown's character. As I say, the man who has received so many plaudits for the playing of the part in the film My Left Foot. Would you welcome him, please, Daniel Day-Lewis. And we're very sorry again for messing up last week. It was unavoidable, as you know.
I'm thrilled to have the chance to come back again.
Welcome back again. Now, you really wanted to play this part above all. Why?
Well, a couple of years ago, I first met Noel Pearson, and during the course of a long evening at his place, he told me the story of Chris's life, some of it. And without knowing any more about him, he became a kind of hero of mine. And then, quite out of the blue, last spring, I began to read the script, and it just appeared. I didn't know where from at the time, and I began to read it, and it was beautifully written. And in the course of time, it had passed from my mind, that event with Noel, and then little by little I realised it was the story that he told me. And, well, I wasn't convinced that I ought to do it. I thought the film should be made, and he was a great hero of mine. I didn't know if it was the right thing for me to take it on, but I just couldn't resist it.
Extraordinarily difficult part to play because of his condition and trying to recreate that condition. Did you meet Christy? Did you ever meet her? Did you see him?
I never met him. The first sight I had of him was kind of experimenting with the use of colourful language on your programme.
Yes. You saw
I saw a
yeah.
tape of that, which Jim Sheridan had.
Well, it's more than we have, as a matter of fact, because we went looking for a tape of that, and we haven't got a copy of it. So I didn't know there was a copy in existence. Yes, he let fly with a couple of rudenesses while he was on the Late Show as well. But his whole life interested you, Daniel, did it?
Yeah, his whole life, and the life, the circumstances from which he came, into which he was born, his family life, the life of the town surrounding him, everything about it I was fascinated by, and just so particularly by his. And the interesting thing about the script, I think, it seemed to me anyway, that it wasn't a predominant feature, his disability. I was just struck by, more than anything else, by his anger at the way in which he was perceived and misunderstood sometimes, and his desire that the record should be set straight. Yeah. And I felt he was a pioneer in a way. Yeah. He was actually charting territory which had never been charted before, and I think my heroes have always been people that have actually ventured into that kind of territory, and he was, and he never let up. He continued to confront people. He confronted his own fears, which takes huge courage, and he confronted other people's fears head on.
Of him, including fears of him, Well, to underline that, let me show you another clip, because John O'Connor is our most famous pianist,
and his young son Hugh plays the part of Christy Brown in the film as a young boy. Now, in case those of you around forget about Christy Brown, remember that when he was born, and for a long time, he was written off as a cabbage, a vegetable. No brain, no nothing, no movement, nothing. And it was the indomitable spirit of his mother who was absolutely convinced, alone against the world, she was absolutely convinced that there was a mind there was a brain there, she could do something about it. And this scene with young Hugh O'Connor playing the part is that very special moment which I reckon will wrench a tear from every mother's eye in the country. This is the point where suddenly they discovered that, by golly, yes, there is something there. And you can roll it there, Roisin, please. This is where the young Christy Brown takes the matter into his own foot.
Jesus, suffering Christ. He's a Brown. He's a Brown, all right. Christy's a Brown. Coat.
Where are you going, Paddy?
What do you think? This man deserves a jar. This is Christy Brown, my son. Genius.
Brenda Fricker and Ray McInally, mother and father there, a lovely, lovely moment. If I didn't mention, by the way, Ruth McCabe played the part of Mary, the nurse, who was afterwards to become Christy's wife. Christy responded very well to fame, Daniel. I gather that you're a little doubtful about fame. Yeah, would that be right? I mean, being described as a bankable property now you are in the movie business.
Isn't it?
It's awful, isn't it?
Well, it is awful. It is awful, I suppose, in some ways, but then it's rather wonderful when, if as a byproduct of that, occasionally something like my left foot is made easier. And I was aware that, because at that time there was a few bob on my head, that it made a difference when Noel was sort of scurrying around trying to get people interested in what seemed like a rather unlikely film, you know. And so then it becomes wonderful. The rest is nonsense.
Whatever about being bankable, how do you react to auditions? It's part and parcel of an actor's life that you must audition and you must be rejected.
Well, I was always very obstreperous about auditions, and we were encouraged to believe when we were training at theatre school that you couldn't get by unless you wrote at least 40 letters a week, and because of course no one has a clue who you are or where you're coming from, and that we had to write letters, we had to get around as much as we could, get into auditions. And I think I did 1 or 2 open auditions and found them so utterly humiliating that I decided that I would just not work as an actor if I had to go through that. And so I just stuck it out and hope that things would, you know, that I'd make my way.
But if you're in the theatre business, you must suffer rejection.
Yeah,
you must be turned down because you're too tall or too small or too fat or too thin, or they just don't like
you.
you.
Well, it's okay if you're turned down for those reasons. It's easier to cope with those. There's nothing you can do about it. But if it's because you're bad, it's less easier to do.
But they never say you're bad. That's the thing.
Do they?
Do they know this sort of, don't call us, we'll call you, but they never actually say you're a lousy actor, go away, you know. They don't like to do that. It's probably just as well. You'd probably hit them or something. Are you a workaholic, do you reckon?
Well, I was going to ask you about that, actually, because I'm just astonished by... I mean, I wanted to find out how it is that you've kept your interest alive over the period of time during which you've done this show.
Yes.
Prayer. So on, because I think...
Fasting, abstinence, the first Fridays, Monday night novena, all of those, they all help, yes.
Purity.
Purity, that's right, yes. Well, that's the end of that conversation. Let's go back to talking about you. Your father, Cecil Day-Lewis, Poet Laureate. Now, we have a weird sort of connotation. What does that mean, in fact?
Well, I think it meant that he was slightly embarrassed some of the time, because I mean, he'd travelled such a distance during his life, having been a kind of fervently committed communist in the 1930s, and a man who believed very strongly, and I think to the end of his life, that Ireland was his home, and had certainly brought us up in the belief that this was as much of a home as anywhere was.
You came here regularly,
yeah. And so the symbol of taking on that kind of, you know, the badge of office, the laurel wreaths, must have been... I mean, these are all things that I get tremendously frustrated, because I was never of an age where I was even interested in talking to him about that. And now I just crave to talk to him about things like that, because I think it must have been pretty hard.
The Poet Laureate has to write one poem a year, or for special occasions or festivals or something.
It could be one, it could be maybe 3 in a busy year. You know? But the fee for that was you could choose between £100 a year or a crate of dry sherry or something.
Even in his
day? And it had been established in Elizabethan times and never changed.
£100 a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
He took the money. It didn't make much difference.
Not many trips to Barbados on that, eh?
No.
He wouldn't have been going with you to the Caribbean. How long was he ill, Daniel, before he died?
He was ill pretty consistently for about 9 years, I think, before he died. I mean, not all the time, but one thing led to another. And I think I was probably about 5 years old when he was... as I remember him, as a healthy man.
And you never really, you say, got to know him as a buddy, or...
Not in the way that you know people without speaking to them, of course, and in some respects, he was a very affectionate man, but distant also, by necessity, I think, because of his work. Perhaps because of his greater age also, it made it harder. I don't know, but now I would love to be able to speak to him.
Indeed, yeah. So have you lost all ambitions then for the cabinet making, Daniel, now? Is that gone? You were going to be a cabinet maker at one stage, yes.
It's really just a coincidence that I'm not, I think, because during the year after I left school, I was really more active in my pursuit of that. I mean, I tried to find apprenticeships, and I was very fussy. I was always very fussy about who I wanted to work with, and there was one designer craftsman in the country who I thought was extraordinary. And I just waited, and he didn't have room in his workshops, and he couldn't take on any more apprentices. And then in the end, I just thought, I'll try for one theatre school and see what happens. And that, it had been a passion for years, but I'd rather, in my last years at school, I began to think that the theatre profession was rather kind of suspect, and perhaps it is.
Yeah.
And so it was cabinet making, and by sheer coincidence, the two possibilities happened at exactly the same time, and I just decided to go to theatre school.
Do you ever run up a little coffee table now, or a little...
No, I haven't laid my hands on on wood since I stopped, and I don't know why. Just because I love doing it so much, I couldn't think of doing it as a hobby.
It's a lovely thing to be able to do, you know, and you shouldn't let it go.
I know.
I mean, so many people would envy your capacity to do that. Now, the passion for the west of Ireland came from your young days with mother and father coming here. Tell them about climbing Croagh Patrick with Jim Sheridan.
well, about 2 or 3 months ago, I thought Jim needed some fresh air because he'd been stuck in the editing room for weeks and weeks. He was looking a bit pasty. And so we hired a car and drove over to the west and went through Galway and up through Connemara into Mayo. And we were sitting in a pub in Lewisburg and in a bar, and Jim said to me, "What about this mountain?" And said, I fancy going up it. And I had been up Croagh Patrick once when I was about 12 or 13 and did remember that it was, you know, it wasn't something you could stroll up. It wasn't like the Eiger, but you couldn't just stroll up it. And it was in December or something. So anyway, I said, well, we'll go and have a look at it, Jim, you know. And so I drove him down there, and 2/3 of it was shrouded in mist, which was really, that was the sort of, that was the worst possible thing that could have happened, because he couldn't see the top. He thought that, oh, it's okay, we'll set off. I said, all right, Jim, we'll go a little way up. He ended up looking like kind of King Lear, you know, with all his grey hair standing on end and wild-eyed, asking me every 10 yards how much further it was. I said, Jim, just forget it, you know, just get up to the top. But it became, there was a moment when I knew that if we didn't make it, he wouldn't come down again, you know. So we got up to the top. We couldn't see a thing. It was pouring with rain and everything.
Nothing.
Lewisburg, they thought we were demented, you know. They couldn't believe we'd done it.
But you got down anyway.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
That's the last mountain Jim has gone up for a long time.
Yeah. I think he's been on a really severe regime ever since then.
Yes, a non-mountain regime. Are you saying line 3, Tom? Okay, I'll take line 3. Somebody wants to talk to you, Daniel. Hello, line 3.
Hello, Gary. How are you?
How are you doing?
Could I ask the gentleman a question of the film that he made?
Yes.
Did it change you in any way after the film? You know, have you changed in your attitude towards people in general? Or are you just, you know, are you the same after the film? We're not getting the question through.
Yes, you are, yes, he's just thinking.
Being ponderous.
Yes.
I don't know if, it's very difficult for me to tell. I think it would be impossible to go through something like that without changing in some respect. And I think probably I do look at things in a slightly different way. And I think I'm less bashful about confronting things than I was. I think, I mean, I had a tendency to kind of search the dust for things before, and I was so constantly impressed by people that I was meeting every day, that their ability to look at things dead on. Yeah. And I try and emulate that, but that's whether that I'm actually changed in that respect. It's just it's a hope rather than a change.
And I would imagine, just to answer the caller's point, I would imagine that from your experience with handicapped people, trying to get the feel of what Christy was living and so on, you'll never regard handicapped people in the same way again.
No, well, now, what I understand more than anything else is that people are born into a trap, and the trap isn't a wheelchair. The trap is the perceptions that everyone else has. That's the trap.
Yes. You happy with that, sir?
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. Yeah,
well
very, very good. Very. And the best of luck to you in the future.
Thanks very much.
Nice man. Nice man. Well done. Well done. Now, I want to show you another clip to show you some of what Daniel achieved in this film. Don't think that the film is depressing. As you can see, there's a lot of laughs. There's an awful lot of fun moments in it. And one of them comes, and it's it's an actual true episode in Christy's life. He just wouldn't give up. He wanted to be involved with everything. And believe it or not, he entered into a football match in his condition. I mean, it's just so hilariously funny to think of him being involved in a football match.